Good to go? Okay.
Ron, are we good? Are we on record? 30-second delay, I forgot. Okay, go ahead, Hon.
Okay. Well, good evening, commissioners and community members. Welcome to the City of Milpitas Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness Meeting. Today is March 17. It is now 7 p.m. and I am going to call this meeting to order. You know what, before that, maybe I should read the public comment instructions. Yes, Tony?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so all public comments may be provided during this meeting by first registering for a Zoom meeting in advance by providing an email address and a name. A link will be sent to you to join the commission meeting, and in order to give the comments. All registered meeting attendees who wish to speak must click on the raise hand icon when the calls on, and if participating by phone, dial *9 to use the raise hand feature. And when you're being called upon, hit *6 to unmute your phone. Your phone number will be displayed in the live meeting and staff will call the speaker to begin. All comments should be limited to 3 minutes, and all members of the public will be limited to 1 comment per agenda item and 1 per non-agenda items. The online written comment form previously used is no longer available for public comments. So now we officially call this meeting to order, and it is March 17, Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness Commission. Moving on, please join me in pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance. I'm sorry, everyone, please join me. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Justice for all. Thank you. Okay, so Ms. Tony, would you do roll call, please?
Yes, Don Clendenin.
Here.
Andrew Liu.
Here.
Joe Nichols.
Here.
Paul Ellis.
Present.
Han Lian.
Yes.
Ruby Khan. Yeah, I don't see her on still. Okay, Jonathan Nakapalao.
Here.
Evan Gann.
Here.
Mike Berryhill.
Muted.
You got called out.
Press the space bar. Here.
And I see Councilmember Dominguez has also joined us as well. And Assistant Chief John Torres, also known as Sergeant Spegenhoyer. Are you lieutenant or sergeant?
Sergeant.
Sergeant. Okay, Sergeant Spegenhoyer, and I see Chief Mullins on here as well. Okay, carry on.
All right. So now we are moving on to the announcements. Are there any announcements?
No announcements for OEM. Is there anyone else that has any announcements?
Okay. I think I'm on a different agenda.
Uh-oh. Do you have the March agenda?
Yes, it says March 17. Hang on 1 second. So we're now on.
Item 5.
We're on 5. Okay, so are there any items on the agenda that needs to be moved or postponed? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
All right, I saw Nichols' hand go up first, and who wants to be second? Okay, got Ellis.
Okay, so Ellis seconds, okay. Roll call vote.
Yes, all in favor, please acknowledge by saying aye. Don Clendenin,
Aye.
Andrew Liu,
Aye.
Joe Nichols,
Aye.
Paul Ellis,
Aye.
Tom Lian,
Aye.
Jonathan Nakaplau,
Aye.
Evan Gann,
Aye.
Mike Berryhill.
Aye.
Very good. All ayes acknowledged. Okay.
All right. Approving of the minutes on January 20th, 2022. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, I've got Ellis as a first. Anyone second?
Second.
Thank you, Evan. And I will do roll call. Don Clendenin,
Aye.
Andrew Liu,
Aye.
Joe Nichols,
Aye.
Paul Ellis,
Aye.
Tom Lian,
Aye.
Jonathan Nakaplau,
Aye.
Evan Gann,
Aye.
and Commissioner Berryhill.
Aye.
Okay.
All right.
The minutes are approved.
Okay, thank you. So moving on to the public forum, is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on an item that's not listed on the agenda tonight?
I do have one attendee with their hand raised, Mr. Urvesh Kumar Mehta. You have 3 minutes, I believe.
Yes. And please note that the item that's not listed on the agenda, no response is required from the city staff or the commission, so no action can be taken tonight.
Okay, Mr. Mehta, go ahead, please.
So thank you very much to the respective commissioners, as well as chair, vice chair, and the council members. I wanted to emphasize on what has been presented in the past meetings of a public emergency and safety commission. The ICS programs were implemented. That was a good goal. The neighbor block program has been implemented. That is go. What becomes more important is that the involvement of the commission with the county, state, and as well as the federal agencies. We understand that there are certain stipulations and the requirements that is to be met for the city as well in order to have the procurement process to be completed with the different federal agencies. There's the American Rescue Plan Act already in a process, which avails a grant for the city to participate in the regional federal emergency management agencies program. Also, it is equally important to derive the facts that what cities' demographics are. Cities' demographic as it is developing, what is the most pertinent things that is required for the citizen in terms of an emergency? City of Milpitas, which is quite closer to the sea-facing area, where we see that most of the soil erosion as well as the land utilization and the landscape escapes, which are filled with the different recyclable facilities. What becomes pertinent is that the communities continue to be improved, not improved, from the different perspective of a recycling facilities as well as the waste facilities around the city of Milpitas. What becomes more important is that the public safety and emergency commissions to participate in the meetings of the order sensor and as well as the South Block orders group, where they would be able to contribute in the similar way for the safety of citizens of the city of Milpitas. Mind that the city of Milpitas is becoming a metro city. So it is important that such that the city participate in the Senate bills as well as the Assembly bill implementation at the county level. And I urge the council members to also participate in those meetings such that they get the regional vision in terms of that how the commission's reporting is to be required. In case of any litigations, in case of any reporting, not just the commission is to independently work, they need to work with the city attorney, county attorney, and as well as the respective litigations associated with the city. And in order to improve those efforts, I urge the council member to continue to evolve the work plan along with the commission reporting, and as well as doing the inclusion of that, what other commissions are doing in terms of improving the life within the city of Milpitas. there are efforts already ongoing for the sustainability improvement plan to be implemented as well as a part of a climate action change plan. I request the commission to consider those as to include in the master plan as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mehta. And we can move on with the agenda, please. On. You're muted.
All right, we're moving on to our, well, since there's no announcements, we're moving on to the business items. And this is where we're going to discuss about the work plan for 2022. Any updates from you, Tony?
Thank you. I'll go ahead and run through the work plan with each of you guys. Okay, so we have the neighborhood specific emergency preparedness programs, and this is Dawn and Mike are on this program. Any updates for this one?
Not for me, Don.
Nothing yet.
Okay.
I haven't heard from Speckenauer or crew to, if they're having any other neighborhood watch meetings or anything like that.
Okay. Moving to item 2, we have Nichols and Nakapala'au to promote the emergency preparedness at the community and faith-based organizations.
Yeah, Tony, I'm working with the group right now. They're in the process of reviewing their existing plans.
Okay.
And they're going to get back to me when that's done. I want to thank Captain Torres for kind of opening that door for me. I've been in email communication with them. They have a national trainer that actually reviews their plans. So I'm kind of in a holding pattern right now, Tony. I told them to take as much time as they want because there's not really that much movement traction we can get right now with everything going on. But was very happy to get that door open for us, and they are in the process of reviewing their plans. And once that gets a little bit more firmed up, I'll have some more information.
Okay, thank you very much. How about you, Joe?
So I reached out to a couple of the local pastors I know of. They're still not doing in-person services yet.
Okay.
So they're trying to work out a time. The 3 I talked to said they're trying to figure out with their congregants when they're going to be moving back towards that. He said once that happens, probably here, 2 of the pastors said probably by the end, early to mid-April, they feel that they'll be able to go back to full in-person services. So they're going to kind of gauge, take a temperature of, the congregation, see, and then go from there and get back to me, and we'll try and get something on the books, arrange something.
I know Christ Community Church, which is up on Park Victoria. We've been open, and we've even gone massless. Your choice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 1000 South Park Victoria.
Okay, yeah, it's right kind of kitty corner to the bowling alley, right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's my church.
Who's the pastor over there now, Don?
It is Matt Robinson.
Okay. Maybe offline you can send me his contact info. So I can reach out to him. Thanks, Don.
Sure.
Tony, can I just ask you really quick? Did you get that email that I sent you about? They were kind of thinking about when the CERT program started up again. Did that go through?
Oh no, I didn't hear anything about that. It was that particular group you're working with.
Yeah, I'll send that again.
Oh, okay, sounds good. Yeah, sorry, I might have missed it in email passing through, but it doesn't sound familiar.
Oh, and
Okay,
actually,
that's okay.
Oh, sorry, Don. I had a question for you, Tony.
Yeah.
So my home church, which is Mount Olive, they're right there on the corner of Calaveras and Evans. They actually have a Boy Scout troop that meets there on a regular basis. Mike knows the Scoutmaster. So I was thinking about reaching out to them too, because I know that's kind of maybe something they do, the scouts would be interested in. I mean,
Yeah, we've actually
Mike,
ran a scout emergency preparedness course before, or we actually ran the CERT program for them. I have scouts actually gone through the CERT program.
Okay.
I think part of Troop 92, who is Mike's group, was part of that group that went through it.
Yeah.
And in the chat is the email address for him.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Tom.
Moving on to the multilingual program, Evan and Andrew.
I'm done with the Chinese translation program. It's at the final stage of a review.
Okay, this is the flyer or the presentation part?
The presentation.
Okay.
The presentation. So there's quite a few misinterpreted language words on the ready.gov. It's many things lost in translation.
Okay.
Just the specific words I can tell almost. Some sections are like Google translated. So when we go from language to language, it's definitely misleading or sending the wrong message to the native speakers.
Part of the issue too sometimes is context. And if they don't get the context right, then they pick the wrong words and some of that stuff.
Right. So right off the bat, sign up for alarm system, that's very simple to understand English. But once they translate it, it changed the meaning to put your signature on a form. So if to a native speaker, they're looking at that line, they have no idea what form or why they should sign it and how that helps. So it's things like that, many misunderstandings. So I think as soon as we decide a day to go, it will be ready. Just not sure if it's going to be online or in person. I think online will probably hit a bigger crowd, so that I will continue to work with Tony to schedule out and to polish the presentation.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, just to be frank with all of you guys, given that we're just now kind of coming back into person in things, even City Hall's finally opening back up full time. I don't really anticipate you guys being in front of anybody till coming into spring now. So for those of you who are feeling like I haven't done anything with what I'm supposed to be doing, it's springtime is kind of when I'm anticipating us getting back out in front of people. So for the fact that we haven't done presentations in front of folks is exactly what I expected. So no worries about that. Andrew, any updates on yours?
Just kind of echoing a little bit of Evan's sentiment. I'm still streamlining the material. The flyers I'm working alongside as well. I do want to probably take some time this month though to cross-reference with Han and kind of just see her material that she's putting out, because I know she's been doing this for a while. So I kind of want to get the verbiage right, make sure everything is pretty polished, especially like Don was saying, context is really important. So the translation part shouldn't be too much of an issue. It's just more of the open forum where we're actually out in front of people, we're able to answer questions and clarify, things. I think that's the most important thing. So just really can't wait till we get out in the community around hopefully spring. Hopefully that's what we're all excited for that.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Yeah, I was going to recommend reaching out to Han, so I appreciate that. Okay, and then let's move on to Han Lian and Paul for the AFN ADA emergency preparedness work that you guys are doing.
Okay, Han, you want to take that, or would you like me to?
Would you, please?
Okay,
And
sure.
if you can share the materials with the group too.
Okay, so we've had, I think, some good progress. Han and I have been working on a trifold brochure, which you can kind of see here. And it talks about a number of different things. I'll circulate it to the rest of the group. And thanks to Eagle Eyes Barry Hill as our editor, who caught a number of issues that we had with it and errors and that sort of thing. So Tony picked up 1,000 of these today from the printers. So we're ready to start distributing these, and the intent is to place them in the normal suspect places like, libraries, police stations, senior center, multi-housing units and things like that. So we'll put this brochure out. We're going to use Nextdoor, the Milpitas Beat, also to promote it in addition to the brochure. And then we're about, I don't know, I would say maybe a third to halfway through the presentation that will accompany the brochure, that when somebody rings us up and says, yep, I'm interested, tell me all about it, that we can go out and do a presentation to these groups. So I think we're about a week, maybe two away from being ready to execute. So that's where we are, I think. Han, did I miss anything?
No, maybe we can bring the presentation to the next meeting and share with everyone.
We could
Yes,
do that, sure.
Mr. Barry Hill.
Yes, recently started going to the senior center to pick up their senior lunch program. And when people pick up their lunches to go, they oftentimes will stick a flyer in for regarding their programs and stuff. But I'm wondering if we might be able to stick in that trifold in with the lunches that they distribute. That would get to a lot of seniors quickly.
Sure, I mean, if that's an option.
Yeah, I
we
will
can
reach
talk
out
to
to
Renee.
recreation to see if that's something we can do. Thank you for that information.
Hey, Paul, just real quickly, do you guys have a digital form of that brochure?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I could email it to whoever is interested in it. You'd have to print it and then fold it to get the full effect of it, but I can do that.
Of course, yeah.
I think Andrew can use that and then do the translation based on the materials, based on all the wordings on there. Andrew?
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. I just a little bit more some tweaking around.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you don't, let me know. I can work with you on that.
So why don't we do this? How about, Tony, if I send you the final version of the PDF and then you can circulate it to the team?
Yeah, no, that sounds great. I'll send it out to
Okay.
everybody.
You probably want the Word version if they're going to do any editing or to translate it. It might be easier if they've got the Word version, maybe.
There is no Word version.
Huh?
I used an app to develop the trifold, and then the app exports it to a PDF. So we'll have to figure out how to make changes to it.
Sounds good.
I might be able to run it through my company we have tools to convert PDF to Word. So I can run it through our utilities and see how well it does with that.
Well, sometimes you can take a Word document, a PDF document, and drop it right into Word, and it will pull it out. Now, some formatting.
Depends on how it was created, though. Sometimes, yeah.
Let's not try and work that here. There are a lot of graphic elements in the trifold, so it's not going to be simply a matter of cut and paste. But we can work it. It's not undoable by any stretch. We can do anything we want to do in this group. I'm convinced of that. Okay. So
all right, and I can leave Paul and Michael and Don together with Andrew too, huh?
Oh, that could be really dangerous, but sure.
All right.
Okay, going to our last agenda item. I'm actually going to put some pressure. Sorry, Chief and Sergeant Speckenhoyer. The last agenda item is work with the public safety community to assist in publicity events that you guys do, like the Coffee with a Cop and the other public outreach events that fire does. I haven't heard anything if anything's come up. I just wanted to get a report out from you two, if you wouldn't mind letting us know if you guys do have any public outreach events coming up that we can plan, because this isn't for any specific commissioner. It's really just you have events coming and we can give dates out if some of the commissioners can't attend.
Well, I know on the police side, I know we at least have another Coffee with a Cop. It'll be more of a Cones of the Cop. So maybe looking at doing like a Baskin Robbins thing, probably during the weekday in the evening. We're still trying to work out an actual date, but probably sometime at the end of April. So as soon as we get that actually solidified, we'll make sure to get that information to you.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind sending to me, and I'll send it out to commissioners. Thank you. Anything for Fire Chief Maloon that is public outreach that the commission can participate in?
We are just ramping things back up after COVID. So we don't have anything significant planned for the general community. We do have a badge pinning ceremony on April 4th for a lot of captains and engineers that were promoted during COVID. So over the last couple of years, that's going to be in the city council chambers at 6:30 on April 4th. And I'll get the invitation over to you, Tony, to send out to the commission. And then, of course, we'll have our Fire Academy graduation on July the 8th, and that's going to be in the community center. So we have a total of 20 graduates, 10 from Palo Alto, 7 from Milpitas, and 3 from Santa Clara County Fire. And when we get those invitations together, we'll get those out to the commission as well. And then as public events do occur and public outreach does occur, and we ramp things back up in that arena, I'll definitely make sure to let you know, and you can pass that on to the commissioners.
Okay, thank you, Chief Maloon. I don't think there's anything else unless someone else has any last words on the work plan updates right now. Okay, back to you, Juan.
Okay, thank you. We are going to move on to number 10, the City Liaisons report. Is Council Member Dominguez here with us?
I am. How are you guys?
Hi, welcome. Do you have any reports for us?
Yes, we've been dealing a lot on the city council level with just public safety.
You have 3 minutes.
Oh boy. All right. So watch the city council meeting. Definitely make sure you are watching our city council meeting. I really need your feedback. One of the things that I do want this group to do, I do want to start submitting a report of the things that we have been doing, because what I'm noticing is that some council members are bringing up ideas that this group is doing. So I just want to make sure that they know that we're already doing that work in this particular group. So I'm going to be doing that for each of my commissions, is drafting together. So if any of you want to highlight any of the work that you guys are doing, it'll be super simple, just bullet points. That way, just other council members are aware of what is happening. And I will be including the minutes because I think you guys are all doing excellent work. And I want to make sure that as the liaison that I'm highlighting the work that all of you guys are putting so much time and dedication to. ARPA funding, we were able to fund some public safety. I think we had about $85,000 that went into public safety. It's not designed yet as specifically what it's for. I am currently, based on the feedback of this group, I am currently advocating for walking beats to happen in the city of Milpitas. This is a program that would encourage police officers to walk around some of the high crime areas or in our businesses and commercial areas in order to deter crime from happening in the first place. So if that's something you're still passionate about, I know I heard that idea come out of this group about 2 years ago. So I'm going to be pushing it again for this budget season. So please submit your emails. Please stay engaged in the next month, especially if you want some money to be invested into public safety. With that, we continue as your liaison to do the cyberbullying and bullying prevention sessions. As a council member, I am certified to do that during my day job. So I am continuing to do that within our faith-based organizations, our schools, PTAs. And so if you have a group out there that you think needs cyberbullying and bullying prevention, please let me know because that is something I'm extremely passionate about. If you want to come along on my next one, please let me know. I could always use some help. And I'm hoping that we return back into face-to-face soon. We've been doing them on Zoom and it's not the same thing. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting back into the classroom and getting back into face-to-face meetings. So I hope that was under 3 minutes.
I think you are within the 3 minutes, but I would like to say that I am so grateful that you gave the school's report. So I have no
Thank you.
The one thing we did a few years ago was they had CERT and some others go out into the hot spots for the smash and grabs, which was over to Ranch 99 and
Best Buy area.
Yeah, the Best Buy area and that sort of thing. So we have kind of engaged sort of as police, but not really officially, in helping them, because they made the flyers up, and then we went out and handed them out and talked to people, on that stuff.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think that's something that we could partner with PD. And one of the things that I think would be awesome to do is just have like a table and go to these hot spots of smash and grabs. I've done it before at the Great Mall, where we just sit there and just kindly remind folks, right? Like, hey, did you leave any of this stuff in your car? And you would be surprised how many people are like, I have to go back to my car. I left my computer, or, whatever they left. That could attract, unfortunately, this crime to happen. So I think that's a great idea and something that I think we could do.
Well, we've done that. We have done that, and I witnessed some of the stuff going on. It was like, I talked to one lady there because she opened up, her tailgate popped open. She walked out, stuck her laptop in it, and I said, that's not a good idea. And I explained why and all that sort of stuff, and she kind of went, yeah, closed the thing, walked away.
Well, thank you, Councilmember Dominguez, for the report.
Of course, thank you very much.
I do have our attendee, Mr. Mehta, has a comment. Let me, cancel it. Mr. Mehta, go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Sure. Thank you very much. I wanted to comprehend some of the things that has been carrying out within the city of Milpitas with regards to the crime prevention. There's also a need for the youth task force to implement for the cyber crime prevention as well. Now, it is important to recognize that we, within the city of Milpitas, as it is getting developing, we have some of the most advanced technology being implemented. I'm assured that everybody is aware about the Ring doorbell technology that is available and being reported to the city of Milpitas, that how many times the package has been stolen from the door gates of the residents. We also need to be mindful about the car breakings. We also need to be mindful about the delivery, the package delivery by different shipping companies. On a day-to-day basis, the technology is evolving and requesting all the citizens to schedule the delivery at door as they require the specification to provide to the shipping services. However, when we are referring to the reports of those, I'm certain that there are still packages being, there are package stealers still doing the same thing as what they are required to do within the city. However, it's what becomes even more important is that when you go after every package stealer, it might not be the case that you'll be able to prevent those by picking them. What becomes more important is that the city of Milpitas does have the online complaint request portal. When we are requesting that, what we need to ensure is that provide the right set of education and resources to them, that with the evidence that what the package stealers are and under what frequency the crimes are being happening. Once we get the frequency of those crimes being driven on a data platform, we'll be able to identify that what are the most crimes that is happening within the city, within specific community, within specific area. For example, Sunnyvale, within the Sunnyvale area, or within the North Milpitas or South Milpitas. What even becomes more important that once we have the data being accumulated with the dashboard of how many numbers of crimes that has been reported, we can isolate the number of the events that has happened and clearly identify that what is the area that is required to be focused on as a part of a safety of the citizens. As the city of Milpitas Police Department is going under the reform, what is even more important is that to do a reform, perform, and transform. Reform is to implement the right law enforcement laws. Perform is to evaluate that what is required to be implemented after the data analysis, and transform it to completely overhaul the systems. Thank you very much for consideration of comments.
Thank you.
One thing when we talk to like the neighborhood watch things, data, call it in. That's general. If you call it in, it gets accumulated as to time, rough time and days and that sort of stuff. And that's what they watch. And they go through that every 2 weeks to say, where's the biggest hotspot now? And then go after it. That's been going on. It's just a matter of people don't always call it in.
All right, thank you. We are moving on to the next item. Tony, any reports from the OES?
Nothing for school districts.
The council member gave away
Okay.
the report. I thanked her.
Very good. I'll accept that. Thank you. So OES report. So CERT update. We have been in the process right now of doing an online training for a new online application that we're trying. It's called ICS for S, and it basically allows our CERT members to communicate with one another while they're while we do have cell tower access. So in an earthquake, it may not be the best situation, but in other disasters that don't challenge our network capabilities, it would definitely give us the opportunity to communicate within our group with one another, where things are at, what they're seeing, fill out forms if they're necessary. So it's a really cool app, but we're definitely in the learning process of it right now. We've had 4 trainings on it. I think the trainings at this point are done. We're going to do some drills on it, and then at some point get together with the programmer, the guy who owns the program, and he's going to sit down with us and sort of do a drill. So I'm looking forward to moving back to in person. We'll be doing that probably this spring. I have people anxiously asking for the next CERT class, and I'm excited that it's prospectively coming back. Hopefully by May, I'm thinking we'll kind of feel out how April goes, and maybe by May we can start a class back up again, which would be great to do an in-person course again. And then also sort of bring back our CERT members, maybe do like a welcome brunch or lunch, something like that, and then get us back into some in-person training for the remainder of the year. So that's kind of all that's going on with CERT. I do want to involve RACES in that ICS program that I was discussing. I meant to initially bring them in, and I sent the invite, but I don't think I sent the links to the training. But what I'd really like to do is get a couple individuals who can kind of serve as subject matter experts and get comfortable with the program, and then they can relay it over to RACES and individuals that come in later, and even train myself a little bit more up on it. So it's kind of the end of report for CERT and RACES for me. Paul, do you have anything for RACES?
Well, yeah, actually, just a couple of things real quick. We are making some progress on the van, and thank you very much, Chief Maloon, for supporting us on that. Hopefully, we'll get that pulled together and wrapped up in the next 30 days or so.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, I know, excuse me, I know you might not be crazy about being around through the whole thing, but I'm glad you're going to stay with us until we get that done. So
yeah, me too.
And we'll make that happen. The other thing is that as Tony is moving into her new office,
I was going to announce that. I haven't even gotten there yet, but I'll let you share the news.
Oops, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's not a secret. You can share the news. Paul's very excited.
Okay, so let me try and backpedal out of that simply by saying that we're going to have a much better opportunity in the second quarter to do some of the things that we want to do in the EOC to upgrade the code plugs in the radios and upgrade the packet network on the laptops. And that doesn't mean anything to most people on here, but we've got about 8 to maybe 20 hours worth of admin work that we need to do that I think we're going to be able to get done in the second quarter now. So that's me.
All right. So other updates. Oh yeah, go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to tell you, Paul, if you ever need a hand with that, please let me know. Whether it's doing work on the comm van or, updating code plugs on the radios. It's kind of what I do for Spring Valley at this point. And, if you ever run into any issues, let me know, because we also have a guy who in his previous life was a radio technician. So if you run into any issues, he would be a good resource I can definitely hook you up with.
Joe, I am never one to turn down skilled and willing volunteer labor, so I will be in touch with you on that. I assure you.
Yeah, shoot me an email and just let me know when you guys are planning on doing any of that stuff so I can.
Okay, awesome. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Lastly, for other updates with OEM, so we've officially deactivated the EOC. Today was like our first, I don't know what the, Chief, what was the exact date, but today was our first day to celebrate that it's been officially deactivated.
It was, I think last Wednesday was our last
Wednesday. Okay, so it was last meeting. So yeah, we can consider that our date of last activation. It's been a very long ride for the last 2 years of all of us to be involved in weekly meetings in addition to the daily work on top of our regular duties for many of our staff. So that's been a significant transition for many of us. And knock on wood, it continue with this same trend as other areas are having some issues. But that was very exciting to sort of turn that around and be able to move on a little bit from that. And then, as Paul sort of hinted at, so my office is moving. It's okay. The EOC, or excuse me, the OEM, my office has officially been condemned. I feel like we should also have champagne on the deck, and we'll probably fall through. So this is actually really exciting because it's been sort of a work in progress as I keep nudging city management and anybody else that will listen to me about how terrible the building is. It outlived its 10-year life by probably an additional 20 years. It's time for it to go. It's going to be a challenging move to deal with, but in the coming year, we're going to be bringing in a new portal probably in the next 18, 24 months, Chief. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, probably by the time it works its way through engineering and everything.
Yeah, so for the time being, I am actually moving over to the police department, which I'm super excited about because it's going to put me right outside. It's going to put me right outside of the EOC, which is actually a fantastic place for me to be in a recommended spot that I should be in, because now I'll have daily coordination with what's going on, just from everything to refilling pens that have now dried out to taking care of supplies and forms and all the stuff that should be ready to go in a hot EOC, which is what we have. And so now I can watch those police officers. They don't steal my laptops because they're definitely guilty of that. I've had to hunt them down through the chief and give me back my laptop. So it'll be a great experience.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sharing some space with dispatch and we'll make it work. And so, yeah, that'll be my new home for the next couple of months. So you can always come down there. Obviously for security reasons, people can't come up, but I am always available to come down for appointments. We have the PD community room, which is always available as long as there's nothing in there that I can meet with you guys. And then of course, obviously anywhere else in town, there's always offices I can jump into if someone needs me. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of it for OEM.
Well, it kind of sounded like more of a good coat of firewood than that old place. World of good.
We're not going to talk about that.
So that building was originally purchased when Fire Station 1 was being rebuilt from, I think, 1998 to 2000. That was temporary living quarters for some of the firefighters and office space for some of the administration for fire while the station was torn down. And then we kind of kept it, and we've actually put it to good use. And we put it to such good use that it was approved in the capital improvement plan for replacement in the coming budget year. So
yeah, there's also some of the ham radio stuff was in there in one of the rooms.
Yeah, it's definitely been well used for sure.
We better get that stuff out of there, Don, before they bulldoze it.
Oh no, there's we don't have any ham radio stuff in there anymore.
Okay, good.
It's all her stuff.
Moving day is coming. Yeah, no, there will be a reckoning on moving day. Like their stuff is going to be coming out of there. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted because I actually may need to get in touch with some of you regarding some of the Raisies things and some of the other things that we can. So
all right. Any other reports? If not, I'm going to move on to Chief Maloon for the fires report.
Oh, great. Okay. So lots of moving parts here in fire as we ramp back up and like I said, with our public education and fire inspections, with the retirement of Chief Frawley at the end of the year, our Deputy Chief of Operations, we did officially promote Battalion Chief Brian Stelling to the Deputy Chief of Operations position a couple of weeks ago. And I think everybody's really, really excited about that. Chief Stelling has been with the Milpitas Fire Department since 1992, so 30 full years. He's hit the ground running. There's a lot of work to be done. So we're excited to have him on board. This coming Tuesday, we have a promotional for the battalion chief position that was vacated when he was promoted. And that position hopefully will be filled probably the following week. So first we start that with an assessment center. We have 5 applicants, all internal. They're all captains with the Milpitas Fire Department. all with many years of experience, and we look forward to that process. And then the chief will interview the top 2 candidates from the assessment center scores the following week, and probably make an announcement for the promotion very quickly thereafter. So we have a captain's promotional coming up then on April 6th as the written test, and then their assessment center will be at the end of April. And we have an engineer promotional in May. And all at the same time, we are still looking to hire more, even though we have 7 currently in the fire academy. We are looking to hire 3 to 4 what we call lateral people. So they're people with fire experience already, and they won't go through a full academy. They'll go through something that we call like a mini academy, where they do an orientation here in the fire department, the way Milpitas does things. So it's busy around here, very, very busy, but all really, really good, positive things. Council also approved the purchase of a new fire engine for the city, but with the supply chain issues, what normally takes 1 year to build is now taking 2 years. In addition to that, we have 2 new Type 6 Wildland fire engines that are going to be delivered. Well, they were originally scheduled for delivery in April. The buildups have been completed. They go on a Dodge Ram 5500 chassis. And the boxes that go on the chassis have been built, and they're sitting in the factory, but they don't have a chassis to put them on. So they're waiting for the Dodge Rams to be delivered. Again, supply chain issues. So everything's taken a little bit longer than anticipated. And then finally, Fire Station 2, if you have an opportunity to drive by it on the corner of Yosemite and Park Victoria, is coming along, and it is a great looking building, and we're very, very, very excited for that to be completed. I believe they're still on schedule for a June or July completion date. There's a little bit of flexibility there, and we're hoping to occupy it shortly thereafter. And that's all I have for fire.
One question is, how about the ambulance?
Yeah, ambulance is scheduled to go. We wanted to put it in service at the beginning of the budget year. We had the ARPA funds to help with the hiring of 4 of the 7 firefighters that are in the academy to help staff the ambulance. While they won't actually go on the ambulance while they're on probation, they will backfill spots for people who do move over to the ambulance. But because they're not graduating from the academy until July the 8th, and we're kind of at the mercy of our partner agencies when we start the academy. And then they'll do about a 3-week orientation, and we anticipate the ambulance going in service full time on August 1st.
Good.
Any other questions for Chief Malone?
So, Chief, do you guys still have the Type 3, the big Type 3 engine in service, or has that been taken out of service?
No, we do. It's still in service. We have a Type 6 that's here at Station 1. It's kind of a reserve Type 6. It's an F350 chassis, and it's a 1989. I know that sounds really, really old, but it's actually my favorite Wildland fire engine. I love that thing. It'll go anywhere. It's got a short wheelbase and a lot of ground clearance. But the advances, obviously, since then. I'm actually really sad to see that go. I was actually hoping they'd take one of our newer Wildland rigs and get rid of that when the new ones come in, but that's going to be surplused out. So, and if I didn't work for the city, I'd buy it when it goes on the auction block. I'll tell you that much. I love that thing. So if you have an opportunity, be on the lookout. But the Type 3 Wildland engine is at Station 2 still. But it's aged, and so it'll actually go into reserve status and be replaced with the Type 6, which is going to be a lot more capable. So, okay. And more versatile too, because it's smaller, but it still carries almost as much water, and its pump capabilities are pretty solid. So the Type 5 at Station 3 and the Type 3 at Station 2 will both be replaced with the 2 new engines.
Okay. Do you have an approximate time frame as when those will go out of service?
When we get the new ones in service, they're pretty advanced as far as engines are concerned, and they also, if you look up if you want to, if you're so inclined, you can look up Skeeters. That's kind of the brand name of the engines on the internet. You can go to their website and look what they look like. They're pretty beefy looking, and they have a really high ground clearances, but they also have really big tires, and it's going to require a significant amount of off-road driver training before we're comfortable with our personnel out there driving those in situations that might get them into some trouble, because San Jose rolled one on the lightning complex fires up on the hillside 2 years ago. They've taken a brand new delivery of one almost identical to the one we ordered and rolled it and only had about 1,200 miles on it. So we don't want to do that. They're expensive engines.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Chief.
Yeah, you bet.
I have Mr. Mehta who would like to comment. 3 minutes.
Again, thank you very much to the respected commissioners, city staff, and as well as battalion chief and the vice chair and chair. I want to emphasize on what city of Milpitas needs in terms of a fire department. It's important that there was, in the year 2020, there was a new engine was purchased by the city of Milpitas. However, what becomes is more important is that whether we have any mobile fire station van, and we also have any facilitation, which can add as a work to the ad hoc vehicle as well. There's a differentiation between the mobile van and ad hoc vehicle. In a mobile van, basically you have a free mobility to place yourself anywhere, and then you can have the drive-through run for that particular emergency services, where an ad hoc vehicle is something that you can adhere those services within that ad hoc vehicle and make it portable to any specific location on the day of the event or within the day of the emergency. Now, what becomes important is that the utility of both the vehicles. Both the vehicles have a different utilization, and both the vehicles are also a different entity in terms of providing services to the citizen. As the city of Milpitas Fire Department is also in alignment with the county of Santa Clara, I wanted to remind about what had happened in the year 2020 during the light fire. Though the city of Milpitas was one of the safest place, however, was not the case with the Santa Clara County and the Santa Cruz County. There were places within the county of Santa Clara nearby city of Milpitas where there were complexes under the fire. Under those circumstances, you need such kind of a services. You need those kind of vehicles where you need to work with the multiple cities fire department in order to make sure that you curb down the fire. Now, what is even more important is that even though you adhere those services, you also require resources to be implemented. I urge the commission to again work with. I urge the commissions to review the American Rescue Plan, avail the grants that is available with the California State Fire Department, and as well as with the County of Santa Clara in order to work with that. What are the fire emergency plans and fire evacuation plans are in place, as you wanted to be prepared with any of such circumstances within the future, and making sure about that the city of Milpitas Fire Department has adequate resources in case of an emergency. What we are preparing ourselves is for the best for the future and as well as the worst for the unforeseen events. Thank you very much for the consideration of comments.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for Chief Malone? All right, moving right on to Assistant Police Chief. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. For those that don't know me, that is not my name below me. I'm Sergeant Jason Speckenhoyer. I'm in charge of our police community relations. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Some of the things we have going on right now in our department is we have next week, we have an etching event over at the Toyota dealership in town. They're going to be doing an etching on the catalytic converters on March 23rd, and then possibly one on the 24th as well. So look out for our social media in terms of the publications on how to sign up for that. But that's an event that we're doing, just trying to help get the information out so that people can help protect their own catalytic converters by at least marking their information on the actual units themselves. So if they are stolen, they can still be identified after the fact. We're also doing a virtual dispatch recruiting event, kind of a live question and answer for our dispatch applicants. So if you know anyone who's looking to be a dispatcher and is looking into getting into the profession, and if they haven't already applied with Milpitas, that's something that obviously is available. But we do this recruiting event Q&A to kind of just help kind of maybe clear up some of the questions that people have in the process. So it's a good event if no one hasn't, if a person who is applying has never gone through one, because it just kind of helps clarify and lets you ask some questions before you actually begin the process itself. Just like fire, we've also had some promotions recently. So Assistant Police Chief John Torres, who couldn't be here today, was promoted from captain. Lieutenant Matt Miller was now promoted to captain, and he's taking over our patrol services. Our Detective Sergeant Craig Solis has been promoted to lieutenant, and he'll be moving back into patrol services working on midnight shift. And Detective Kevin Jackson has moved from his detective position, and he's now going back to patrol as a sergeant. Some of the other things that we've been kind of working on is we're dealing with right now is Assembly Bill 481, which essentially is any type of military, is requesting by the state for any type of military equipment owned by law enforcement agencies, has to go through a reporting process back to their city council to kind of let them know, hey, this is what we have. Most of the stuff we have, so the our drones, certain types of weapons that we have in terms of for less lethal and lethal force, are also our armored rescue vehicle. Those types of items, much of this has already been approved by council, but because of Assembly Bill 41, we have to then go back and just do an update in terms of what we have, how much we have, and just kind of make sure that we open the books and let everything be seen. In terms of some of our social events that we've been doing, as we also too have been kind of ramping up a lot of our stuff. Don, I have not forgotten about you. I know that if we start doing any of our neighborhood watch stuff, I will let Tony know so she can see who's available to assist or join us, whether it be virtual or actually in person. We usually leave that up to the groups. We've been trying to reach out to our neighborhood watch groups about 4 times a year, just to kind of check in with them to see, hey, what can we help you with? Any questions you need answered? And so it really depends on what they are, if they have questions about things maybe in their neighborhood. But we do that just to kind of do regular check-ins to see if there's any questions we can answer. And of course, we will grab you guys, bring you along when the time comes when we start having some of those. I think we're going to have one coming up, I think in April for sure. I think it's a new neighborhood watch group. So again, once we get the finalized date on that, I will let you guys know. Recently though, last Saturday on the 12th, we did a social event with a group that is based mostly out of Milpitas residents, but is just south of the border in San Jose, called Pragya, which is a neurodiverse group who kind of highlights individuals with either autism and Asperger's. And essentially it looks at trying to, bring them so that they can adjust to some of the things in society and just kind of help with those perceptions of that group. They wanted to partner with us. And so we were actually very proud to know that we were the first law enforcement agency in the Bay Area to do this with that group. And we did a 2-hour session with them on Saturday on the 12th at Strickroth Park, where we just kind of got to know, did a presentation about the police cars. We had several officers in uniform, whether our CSOs or myself in uniform, so that we can kind of just not only introduce ourselves, talk about some of the best practices if there is an incident where law enforcement is needed at a residence that has a neurodiverse individual, that some of the things that we as staff would like to know before we get there. And we also kind of highlighted some of the training we do regarding communication and kind of recognition of someone who's neurodiverse, so that we can avoid any kind of tragedy that has happened in other places. So those are things that we as an agency are working on, but we also want to make sure that we're working on that with those groups and making sure that we're having those communications and kind of having that regular check-in, because I think that's something that's really going to be good in the future, just because it'll kind of, the more we're around, the more we see each other, the better it is for everybody. And lastly, we've also been doing a lot of events at the schools. So we've been doing a lot of Recess with a Cop, where we're actually going to the elementary schools. Our goal, since we've started this in January, is we're trying to go to all the different elementary schools within the city of Milpitas, just at least so we can, for this first year, kind of make sure that we get to everybody and then continue to do it when the 2022-2023 school year starts. But it's essentially just our staff going in uniform and being present, hanging out with the kids. It's not a law enforcement or enforcement setting. And it's just a matter of them getting to know us, letting them ask questions. And they ask a lot of questions, which is awesome. But it makes it more of a fun environment so that we're actually doing things that kind of maybe takes away some of the spookiness when it comes to people in uniform or law enforcement in general. And it gets them to know us as individuals, which I think is extremely important, especially since we don't have Dare anymore. But it's up on our social media. We were at Senate School this morning and we had a damn good time. So, but that's anything from Milpitas PD.
Great, thank you very much. Any questions?
Paul, you're muted.
Still muted, Paul.
Yeah, maybe just as well. Actually, no questions, but some of this programs just sound awesome. So my hat's off to you guys.
We're trying.
All right, lastly, we have a comment from Mr. Mehta. I will allow you to speak 3 minutes, please.
Sure. Thank you very much again to the respected commissions members. What I wanted to emphasize on is that as Milpitas Police Department has overhauled the law enforcement agency laws. However, what becomes more important is that how we are evolving as towards the youth. What youth perspective is the technology, and technology is allowing them to interface themselves anywhere globally in the world. So when we are referencing ourselves that, how we take care of the child abuse, how we take care of the child abuse violations, the child trafficking, what we need to ensure is that, we educate them about that, what it is about the technology that is beneficial and also harmful. The technology has both kinds of benefits. When any particular law that is being implemented that has a similar implications accordingly. So in terms of the age bar, what becomes reprimanding for those youth is that they are deprived of knowledge and then they inadvertently make such move which they are unaware of. Implementing a cyber policy within the city of Milpitas and also seminars by Milpitas Police Department allows them to educate that what it is to take to implement the technology and what it is take to utilize that technology. The transformation process is a whole evaluation, is a whole evaluation as a holistic approach. It's not just about reform and perform. It is about understanding that what technology delivers. And then when somebody, in terms of an example that I wanted to give, is that posing as an identity theft, or fraudulent activity over the internet, the youth doesn't know that what they are interfacing with, what kind of websites, what kind of chat messages, what kind of bot messages they're interacting with. And when they are interacting with the individual, they neither have the information about that who they are interacting with. It is a similar concept of something with the Zoom bombing, that Zoom meetings are being conducted and then there are infiltration that happens within the meeting with unaware knowledge of the recipients they are interacting over the meeting. However, when anybody is registered, they are already being known to those meetings. So it is important that in such kind of incident, the Milpitas Police Department must be aware of such incidents and as well be aware about that, these are the issues already being reported to certain agencies at the federal level as well. Thank you very much for consideration of comments.
Thank you very much. And we appreciate all the comments and all the engagements that you have for our commission. I think we are done with our meeting, and I do need to see if we have any other questions, comments. If not, I do have to ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
So that's Don second?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Well, thank you all for attending the meeting tonight. And did I see Councilmember Dominguez still on?
Yes, I am on. I have been on.
Thank you. And I really meant that I was very appreciative that you gave the schools report. But now,
I'm glad that we're overlapping on the work. And so just know that the city continues to form a partnership, and, you know, our kids are important. And so definitely cyberbullying is something that's part of the work, right? To keep our kids safe. So thank you very much.
got that. Thank you. Good
All
night.
right, oh, sorry, hon. I was going to record motion to adjourn at 8:06 p.m. Everybody go eat some corned beef.
Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's.
Happy St.
Happy St.
Day.
Patrick's, everyone.
Hey, be safe out there, guys.
Right. Yep.
Take
Good night,
care.
take care, guys. See you guys in 2 months.
Oh, that's right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Mike, I sent you an email.